JLR Investigates reporting from outside the Golden Corral Buffet here in Florida. Why am I in front of the Golden Corral Buffet? All you can eat. Well, there is a very crazy case going on in Florida with a man on death row. And his lawyers are claiming he's too fat to be put to death. Whoa! Whoa! Saying he's obese and he shouldn't be put to death. This is the case of Michael Tanzi, someone that was convicted back in the early 2000s for murdering a female, and he's on death row, and his lawyers are like, no, we don't want him to be put to death because he ate too much. He's obese. Maybe he didn't eat too much, but I'm assuming he did. Out here in front of the Golden Corral. Now, let me share some information while I'm out in front of the Golden Corral because I'm ready to go in and get myself something to eat. Check this out right here.
So we're going to be monitoring this case right here. Astonishing excuse death row prisoner has given for why he should not be executed. Lawyers for a death row prisoner in Florida have filed a last-ditch effort to prevent his execution, citing that his weight would complicate the lethal injection procedure. Michael Tanzi, 48, was sentenced to death in 2003 for the murder of Janet Acosta in 2000. And after serving 2 decades on death row, Ron DeSantis, the governor, signed his death warrant. However, Tanzi's lawyers filed a brief on Monday stating that he was obese and suffers from a nerve condition called sciatica. His lawyers argue that due to his obesity, the state's 3-drug lethal injection could potentially cause Tanzi serious illness and needless suffering. The 8th Amendment of the Constitution prevents cruel or unusual punishments, and Tanzi's representation claimed that his weight may prevent the drugs from taking full effect, leaving him paralyzed. The brief detailed that the drugs may not be able to fully sedate Tanzi and he would be left paralyzed but aware with a sensation of being burned from the inside. The Attorney General's office filed a brief on Wednesday refuting Tanzi's claims, slamming his lawyers for waiting until his death warrant was signed to argue cruel and unusual punishment. Tanzi fails to offer any support for his groundless assertion that the massive dose of the cocktail used and was repeatedly and successfully used in Florida's lethal injection protocol will not work for him. They're saying it's baseless. So, I want to know how much this guy weighs, first off. And this is ridiculous because my take is, if someone is sentenced to death, then they can just eat away and just get certain obese, gain weight, get fat, whatever you want to call it. Don't mean to offend. And that would prohibit you from getting the death penalty. What about firing squad? What about firing squad? Okay, fine. If the chemicals used to put him to death won't work because he's obese, what about the firing squad? So maybe his lawyers are going to set every single future death row inmate up for failure because the state could just say firing squad, just like they're doing in South Carolina, just like they're doing in Idaho.
Absolutely crazy, folks. He's going to be put to death. He's going to be put to death very, very soon. He's up there at the death row unit up in northern Florida, Stark area. Maybe we'll go and check it out because outside of these executions in Florida, there are anti-death row people and also pro-death row people protesting out front. So we'll monitor this situation, but I did want to bring that attention. Do you think that case has any merit? Can someone not be put to death if they got sentenced to death because they're obese? I've never even heard that before. Anyway, I'm getting kind of hungry, so I'm going to go get something to eat in here. I love the Golden Corral steak and all their vegetables, veggies. It's good stuff. So stay hungry, my friends. We'll follow this case extensively, but he'll be put to death for sure. JLR investigates. Have a good day, everyone. Stay hungry. Eat well, friends. I had to throw a shirt on, but told you. Here, I'm at the Golden Corral. Golden Corral, Golden Corral. Golden Corral. Look, Golden Corral, Golden Corral. Yeah, death row. Death row. Death row, Golden Corral. Here we go. Yeah. He said he's too big to be put to death. I don't know, folks. But I'm going to be eating good. JLR investigates.